For thousands of years I lay dormant. Who has disturbed my... Oh, hey Goku, what's up?
Androids.
Neat. Mind if I take a spin?
Cause you spun them around. Clever.
Did I scare you? Well, you should be scared of this. No, not that. This.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Guys, it's 2025. California's still on fire. I'm still in an icebox here on the East Coast. And Primis could be very well voiced by AI this year. Whoa, now hold on a second, Clambo. What the hell are you talking about? You just come back and that's what you have to say? I know, guys, I know, I'm sorry. Life happens, I'm sure you know. A little stressful, but things are starting to get a little better. So hang tight, all right? But I really wanted to talk about this before the tomb came out. With there being like so many implications like to Primis in this map, with the obvious ones like the ice staff, and it just being in an excavation site in France. There are so many things that point to Primis's return, specifically this year. And guys, I am beyond torn about this. It's a simple question that I have, and I'm gonna answer right away. Should Primis return? The short answer to that is no. But there's a lot of buts and a lot of ifs. And I want to explain why the year 2025, AI, and Black Ops 2 all have to do with Primis's return. Now, to a lot of you guys, it's kind of obvious where I'm going with this. But to some of you who are newer here, you might not understand the significance of Black Ops 2 and the year 2025. And I want to make it like pretty clear up front that I don't feel like I have to make this video because a lot of people have already made their AI videos. I just kind of wanted to. And I wanted to express what I thought of Primis's potential return. Because like a lot of you, Primis means a lot to me. Well, why does it mean a lot to me? Humor me and take a trip with me back to where this started. Black Ops 2, my favorite overall Call of Duty of all time. We'll take a few turns and we'll take a few back roads, but I promise it'll all lead up to the topic at hand, Primis. It's 2011, and we're kind of getting used to this whole modern realism shooter, and it kind of showed based on a lot of the comments we were seeing around that time on Call of Duty. People were starting to get sick of this modern setting, so here comes Black Ops 2. And man, that shit made my little 14-year-old wiener rock hard. Surprise. Replacers, this futuristic setting, man, I was ready to eat this shit up. From every aspect of this game, they straight up cooked. If Modern Warfare 2 was the piss, Black Ops 3 was the shit, then Black Ops 2 was the fucking cum, dude. The year 2025. That is when the main premise of this game takes place. Campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. Each of them deviate from that a little bit with DLC and story, but that's kind of the main focal point time frame of this game, 2025. It is utterly crazy to me that I have lived long enough to see this Call of Duty be both a futuristic Call of Duty and a modern day Call of Duty, purely based on the time frame and the year. I would argue, and I'm sure a lot of people would argue by saying that this was the golden age of Call of Duty. The time I would say when most people were the happiest with this series. It's interesting seeing where we're coming from then versus now. Call of Duty is kind of seeming like it's going on a downward spiral, and it's one of the first times we've seen it like this bad, especially like in a long time. Last time we saw something of this magnitude, I think, was Infinite Warfare. A lot of people jumped ship around that time because of the game direction, the art style. And I'm positive that these people that jump ship have not come back. At least a lot of them haven't. But here it seems kind of worse. You got hackers, cheaters, buggy and unpolished gameplay, crazy ass shot bundles, lame ass collaboration event and game modes like the Squid Game shit, and just a lack of fun people are having with the game all seem to be kind of culminating to a head, with more people talking about how shitty it is now more than ever. Guess what, guys? Time is a flat fucking circle. The new players who started in something like Modern Warfare 2019 or so, y'all are starting to go through the same shit we went through. We are seeing more people jump ship from this game series because of all the bullshit. But guess what? It is 2025, and Call of Duty always seems to have this ace up their sleeves to kind of keep themselves relevant. This is one of them. Black Ops 2 Remastered. That is being rumored to come around this year, or like some variation of that. I ain't finna cat with y'all guys. On the surface, if this happens, and this is a big if they do a straight 1-to-1 remaster of BO2, I'm eating that shit up. I am eating that up. Like, how could I, as an older school Call of Duty fan, not at least try out the remaster of my favorite Call of Duty? They did the same shit with Infinite Warfare and COD 4 Remastered. COD 4 was the ace up their sleeve for that year. I'm pretty positive things would have gone a lot more south if they didn't release that game along with Infinite Warfare. But you had to buy Infinite Warfare to get COD 4 Remastered, at least when it launched. They save their shit for a rainy day, and it's starting to look like it's their rainy day. Why the fuck else do you think we only got a Modern Warfare 2 campaign remastered, not multiplayer? And why the fuck do you think they decided to shut down that H2M mod so quickly? They're saving that for a rainy day. Black Ops 2 Remastered, releasing in 2025, the same year that the game takes place in, is a beyond genius move and would, unfortunately, go insanely hard. Which is why I'm thinking that this rumor alert is true. And guess who the fuck we were introduced to in Black Ops 2? Primis. Again, if you're newer here, you might think that Primis was introduced in Black Ops 3 with how much the community talks about it. But they were shown in Black Ops 2 in the last DLC pack, the Apocalypse DLC, Origins. Now, obviously, we had the 1.0 variants of these characters, the original versions of them, in World at War and Black Ops 1. But at the time, this was seemingly the origins of how the Ultimus characters first met. We then learned that's not the case, but that's how we seen it back then. And it's really interesting seeing how Primis became the main characters and Ultimus kind of became the side cast, at least a little bit. Their story began and eventually ended with little to no cheese touch from Activision. Like, it seemed like a story that they genuinely wanted to tell that was really good, and it ended, and that was it for Primis. Everybody loved it. Well, at least most of it. Maybe the ending not so much, but we'll get back to that later. It's really interesting knowing that a lot of the Zombies player base just hasn't had any affiliation with the original crew. Primis, Ultimus, nobody. They just have the Terminus crew. And it almost seems like it's just like this fable that all the old Zombies players tell the new Zombies players about, like a fucking campfire story. Maybe I'm just making that up, but I don't know, it seems right. And over the past couple months, we've had so many discussions about old systems and new systems, old storyline versus the new storyline, old atmosphere versus new atmosphere, difficulty, and the list goes on and on. But like the new Zombies or not, the content that they're pumping out for the game is almost like no other Black Ops game. And it seems like Zombies is their golden goose this time around. Thank God, finally. Like, we already have another map coming out, which is absolutely incredible. I hope their quality matches the quantity in this sense, because I'm starting to have a few issues with the game, but that's for another video. But leave it to Activision to leave its dirty fucking mark on Zombies with this AI bullshit. I think most people can agree that Zombies is in a pretty decent state this time around, at least compared to the last half decade. Nobody agrees with this AI bullshit. And if you do, prepare to have my fucking nuts on your forehead, buddy. If the year 2025 and the fact that Call of Duty is struggling nowadays are indicators that Primis might return in any sense, AI is going to be the thing that ruins it. That was a bit of a mouthful, but let me explain. To keep it short and simple, in case you aren't astutely aware by now, Samantha Maxis and William Peck have been recast because Julie Nathanson and Zeke Alton, I think his name is, didn't want to renew their contracts. The contract including the notion that their voices could be used to train AI so they can get AI to voice these characters. They said no, they got recast. People like Julie Nathanson was there since Moon.
How long do you think we've been doing Samantha Maxis, if we include our old version?
I feel like it was the Moon map for the Resurrection DLC. So it's been since then. So it's over a decade.
Wow. I can't believe we're both nearly 30 now. We were
It's
so young
amazing.
when we did that.
We've both grown up with her.
Hearing that is so like gut-wrenching, dude. She's been there for that long. Like, you guys are crazy for having this video still on your channel. And they couldn't work something out that didn't include using their voice to train AI. Like, they couldn't come up with something else to renew their contract with. Absolutely insane stuff that, like I said, I'm positive 99% of people are all in agreement about. And this is all 100% Activision's fault. It's not Treyarch that's doing this. It's Activision that's pushing this on them. And we'll talk about Peck later. But what does that have to do with Primis? Well, since Primis is heavily rumored to return, it could be done in so many ways. Whether it's them being introduced in this Dark Ether storyline, shop bundles, or even something like a Black Ops 2 remaster like we mentioned. No matter how you cut it, no matter how they return, it's gonna be a fucking shit show. What does Dr. Monty say? It's a fucking shit show. Let's get this out of the way. No matter how they reintroduce Primis into this game series, it's gonna be for a nostalgic cash grab, plain and simple. It could be done well, it could be done really shitty, it could be done really well. It's gonna be a nostalgic cash grab no matter what. Let's say they return, right? Who's gonna voice them? They already got Nolan North and Fred Tatasciore, I think is how you pronounce his name, in the game. Steve Blum, they could probably pull in, but Tom Kane, the voice of Takio, unfortunately suffered a stroke and cannot get back into voice acting. Much love to him. If we have to get Primis back, like if this has to happen, I think most people would want all of them to be back together voicing them. And that's just problem number one. Another problem is, how would it even make sense lore wise if it wasn't just a remaster? Do they just like yoink their bodies back and possess them like some people are theorizing that's gonna happen, and we have to put an end to their suffering? That wouldn't be so bad, I guess, but I mean, it kind of sounds a little lame. You know they're gonna want to make them playable characters. If it's not Primis, maybe a new set of characters, like maybe a 3.0 variant, that could work, even though, I mean, they'd have to be literally crafted out of thin air because their bodies were just like left to rot. Like, it doesn't have to just be Primis. It could be like fucking like Butticus is what I keep saying. Like, as much as I hate the ending to Black Ops 4, Primis, their story's closed. So if we're gonna have the 4 characters, it's gonna have to be, or at least I would want it to be, a new variant of them. But like, lore aside, the biggest problem is this AI shit. What happens if and when Nolan, Steve, and Fred decide they don't want to voice them because of this AI bullshit contract? Will they replace them? They already have to replace Tom Kane's voice for Takio unless he decides to give Activision his blessing and allow them to voice train AI. And I guess maybe that's a possibility, but I wouldn't count on that, and we shouldn't want that. Like, trust me guys, we don't want that. We don't want AI to be voicing our characters here. But let's play a little devil's advocate here. What if they say fuck it and recast all of them because none of them want their voice to train AI? First off, that would be absolutely insane in a bad way. But I mean, hey, they've got a big new zombies audience here that doesn't know these guys, so they wouldn't really be attached to these voice actors. They've replaced Peck, and to be honest, I think he has a much better voice actor now than the old one.
Relax, Major Carver. All of us here have a common enemy. The guy who locked you up. The guy who stole my life's work. Edward Richtofen. Relax, Major Carver. All of us here have a common enemy. The guy who locked you up. The guy who stole my life's work. Edward Richtofen.
And I think that Sam sounds okay. I mean, I prefer Julie, but I don't know. But honestly, I don't think we know who actually voices these characters now. I could be wrong, but I don't think we actually know who they are. Imagine they're voiced by AI too. That'd be insane. But I could totally be wrong about that. Let me know in the comments if you know otherwise. But I couldn't find anything when I looked it up. And hell, even going outside of the realm of zombies, there are plenty of iconic voice actor recasts that I honestly prefer over the older voices. Some of you Dragon Ball heads out there will know what I'm talking about. The circumstances of them changing is a little different, but it has happened with people like Frieza Off the top of my head, the 3 most iconic voice actors he's had are Linda Young,
I'm just moments away from achieving my maximum right now.
Chris Ayers,
Exasperating to find you've underestimated your opponent, isn't it?
and Damon Mills,
You look just like him, the vile Saiyan who cut me in half.
all contributing to an absolutely phenomenal performance as the Galactic Emperor himself. And rest in peace, Chris Ayers. So there's definitely room for them to replace a voice actor. Now, I don't want you to hear that and think that I just want them to replace voice actors over and over and over again. I don't think that. It is absolutely insane what they're doing to these guys, and I just kind of wanted to bring that up as just like as a conversational point. I don't think that should happen at all. I just don't want you guys to get me wrong on that. It's disgusting that they can just drop somebody who's been there for so long just like that without any other form of like deal, you know? And also, these characters are practically tied to these voice actors. So it's going to be like a harsh difference if they recast them. Replacing all of them would be kind of a shock, but realistically, it probably won't be all of them. And like, I know we would all love to see them back together, but that's just life, man. Unfortunately, things happen. But that begs the question even further. Should they even be bringing them back in the first place if it's going to cause all this trouble? And honestly, I think it depends on who you ask. The short answer, like I mentioned earlier, is probably a no. But it's so hard to just say no when I love these characters so much, just like a lot of you guys do. And if they can, I don't know, get actual competent voice actors that do a great job voicing these iconic characters that have nothing to do with AI, and the story can somewhat make sense, then I guess that I'm down. If this has to happen, that's like the only way I'll get like max enjoyment out of Primis returning. Other than them, obviously, just being voiced by their original voice actors. But, you know, shit happens. It's never going to wind up looking like that. One thing I wanted to kind of end this conversation on is the chance to end these characters' story in a much more deserving way. Black Ops 4's ending, I did not like. And I know a lot of you guys didn't like it either. I know some people did wind up liking that ending, and that is totally fine. Again, preference is fine, but I really did not like it. Like, is this really how we wanted to see our legendary crew go out? Fuck no, dude. I just can't get with the rushed story that they had to do because they weren't fully focused on our boys. Me and Killer touched on this in his podcast, but Primis should have finally gotten to choose the way they wanted to go out. After all this time being brainwashed and dragged around by Richtofen from map to map, they should have finally gotten a say as to how they wanted to go, because clearly they were the problem with the cycle and they had to go no matter what. But man, if they really bring them back, they got some fat fucking nuts if they're gonna do it. And if they're gonna do it, you guys better do it right. But the sad thing is, I really don't think there's a right way to do it, no matter which way you cut it. Fuck, bring back Victus. These motherfuckers I'd be cool with. They're literally alive in the dark ether. But anyways, I think a big reason as to why I wanted to make this video was not just because I wanted to talk about it, but I think I also wanted to kind of keep this whole AI sentiment fresh in people's minds so we don't just forget about it. And I also want to prepare people for something like this and kind of see it from a few different angles. And if you guys have different angles you want to view it from, or that you just see it from, let me know in the comments. I'd love to read them. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it, as always. So to recap everything, the situation's kind of complicated if they were to decide to bring these characters back in any regard. So I think they really don't need to be doing that, but I honestly think that they are. Again, this is just all speculation. This could potentially not happen, but I just want to kind of get people thinking about this so we're not surprised when and if this happens. But thanks for listening to me ramble. Thank you for your patience. It's been a tad busy, but I think with the Tomb coming out, I'm skeptical, but I'm pretty excited for it. But that's about all I had to say for today. Your boy Clambo is out of here. I'll see y'all soon. Peace. Oh, and one more thing. Yo mama.